that's Miami. This is also going to be on ABC. So right after the Washington and Oregon game does end up concluding, we will have the next top 25 game that's going to happen. Miami, still ranked in the top 25. They're ranked number 25 in the country. Just a preposterous loss against Georgia Tech, a loss that really should not have happened by any means. Well, now they got to go on the road, and they are going to go and take on North Carolina. North Carolina, still undefeated, ranked number 12 in the entire country, led by Drake May. And I wonder if Miami losing to Georgia Tech the way that they did, I wonder it's going to get them more focused, because you think about what happened. We'll go to Miami first, obviously. So you think about what happened to that Miami team. Miami should have won that game. They were a 20-point favorite over Georgia Tech, and it should have been, it would have been an ugly win. They would have not covered regardless, but it should have been an ugly win. And Mario Cristobal knows that. He's taken the blame since then for not calling the kneel down. He's just he's going to take a blame. He's going to take responsibility and accountability for that. But now you have a Miami team that's going to be refocused, and they're also going to be in that wounded animal mode. Because now, instead of Miami being undefeated going in this game, and maybe this being a top 15 matchup, it's going to be a top 25 matchup instead. Still a ranked matchup. That's why we're still talking about it. In North Carolina ranked number 12 in the country. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting just from that standpoint. How is this team going to be focused? Because Tarheels are going to have a much different mindset. They're coming off a blowout against Syracuse. It extends the program's best start in 26 seasons. This 5-0 start that they're experiencing right now, the last time that North Carolina started as well, I was barely alive. I'm 26. Will turn 27 in March. When I was born was the last time that North Carolina football has started this well. And the offense for North Carolina has been elite. They end up racking up 650 total yards. They also only surrendered just 11 first downs. That's a fewest in a game for the Tar Heels defense since 2012, over a decade. And not only that, North Carolina has also had Miami's number as of late. So since Mack Brown, the head coach of North Carolina, has came out of retirement and started coaching this North Carolina football team, Tar Heels have won all 4 of their meetings against Miami in Chapel Hill. 3 of those wins did come in pretty narrow, thin margins, just 3-point games. And that includes the in 2019 with Brown's first home game as a head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels. Miami, by the way, they were off to its best start since going 10-0 in 2017, prior to the Georgia Tech game. So what should we watch out for in this particular game? Quarterbacks, definitely got to talk about the quarterbacks. I think we're going to have a good quarterback matchup in here as well. Drake May taking on Tyler Van Dyke. Tyler Van Dyke struggled immensely in its matchup against the Georgia Tech defense. Miami did only score 20 in that game, but even with that rough patch, this is a guy that is in the top 10 in terms of all FBS quarterbacks with a efficiency ranking of 178.8. Don't know how that efficiency ranking is necessarily calculated, but that is tops in the ACC. Drake May, not as efficient. He's outside of the top 25. Van Dyke, on the other hand, and Drake May, they have similar completion percentages, both in the top 15, throwing at 72.6 and 72.1. So these are good quarterbacks. Tyler Van Dyke did not show that in the Georgia Tech game, but this is a guy that does do a good job of quarterbacking for the Miami offense overall. But we know that Drake May is also on a different level. Drake May is also third in the entire country in total offense at over 350 yards a game. That's what he's accounting for by himself between passing the ball and running the ball. He's in the top 5 on his own. He's certifying him. We already talked about him being at least quarterback 2, maybe not necessarily quarterback 1, but he's certainly quarterback 2 for the upcoming NFL draft if he does choose to declare, because he might be making more money through NIL than maybe what he would make on a rookie NFL contract, for example. Now, key thing to watch here, defense. We talked about defense in the previous one. Got to talk about defense here, notably Miami's defense. Even with how ugly that game was, the Hurricanes still are going to provide a tough test for North Carolina and that high-powered offense that the Tar Heels are going to provide. The Hurricanes do still rank top 10 in the FBS. They're only allowing 268 yards a game, and they're in the top 15 in points per game allowed, 14.6. So they're only allowing a couple of touchdowns, and that's going to be a fun test. Like I said, for that North Carolina offense, averaging 500 yards a game, to go with 36.6 points, that's both in the top 20 for both yards per game and points per game. Third downs are going to be real important as well. Can the Tar Heels continue to convert third downs at a high rate? They're second in the country right now, converting over 56% of their third down conversions. They're extending drives. They are extending drives, and that's going to likewise test the Miami defense and test their resolve, because let's say we have a game like last time where maybe the offense is not clicking on all cylinders like it was in the previous game for the Hurricanes. Can they keep a level head and make sure that they're getting them off the field? Because if North Carolina is able to extend drives, it could be a long day. Plus, North Carolina does have its full complement of weapons as well. The Tar Heels do have Tez Walker back. He initially applied for NCAA eligibility after his transfer from Kent State. He technically transferred twice, and that's why I got it denied. But so he was on North Carolina Central. North Carolina Central canceled their season. He then went to Kent State. So he didn't play any football in North Carolina Central. He went to Kent State, played some time at Kent State. His head coach left to be the offensive coordinator of Colorado. He now goes to North Carolina. It's done that the NCAA denied his eligibility in the first place, but Tez Walker, he's back on the field, and Tez Walker did get some looks, 6 catches, 43 yards. I'm curious to see how Tez Walker gets more involved in this particular game, because I think they're going to need him in order to win this game comfortably if they wanted to do that. Now, he has been working with the scout team, but working with the scout team and working with the first team guys, completely different story. So watching for how North Carolina handles the defense of Miami. I'm looking at, does Van Dyke just have a bounce back game here? And then Tez Walker, a possible X factor. But all that said, we'll take a look at the model here. We got a -3.5 for North Carolina right now. I got the model with as 13-point favorites. This time, I think I will end up agreeing with the model in this aspect, because I think I question Miami's coaching staff. After what happened in that previous matchup, I believe in the talent of Miami. I don't believe in the coaching staff It's not just on Mario Cristobal. It burrows down to the coordinators and the positional coaches as well. That was a meltdown of all meltdowns that should have never happened. Will it be a blowout? No, I don't believe that this will be a blowout, but I do think North Carolina wins. I think North Carolina wins comfortably, and I think North Carolina does end up winning by that 10 to 14 range that the power rating model that we have here on the channel is going to side with.